going to learn it's all about quantity over quality.
Wait, here. Ready?
Oh.
I think we have to do them together.
Oh, ready? Hey, that was good.
That's pretty good.
Was that one man clapping?
Hey, we're back.
We're back.
We didn't take a break. Some people, they take breaks, not us.
That's right.
We drink the
definitely
water
didn't.
right into the microphone.
We definitely didn't just spend 3 hours playing Smash Brothers.
And I
wish. I
would
want
have
that.
won
Let's do
too. I would have
Wow,
just cleaned
man.
house and beat the brakes off both of you all.
That got Ryan good, man.
Oh, gosh.
Ryan's just trying to imagine a world where I win a Smash Brothers match.
Oh, it is hard.
Anyway, what do you guys think about Marathon?
Man, I've had so much time to think about that.
Yeah, you really...
As you showed me a trailer for it right before we were.
I'll definitely wait for reviews and some more gameplay and stuff to come out. An extraction shooter sounds schmeh to me. It's
My
it's
biggest,
fine.
my biggest,
I think it looks good.
reservation, I guess,
Like,
is,
graphically.
like the graphics, like the style,
of it, yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things Destiny has learned to do exceptionally well. I
Yeah.
think is like the mystery embedded in their design. You know what I mean? Like everything about the way that their games look makes you want to know more about, like, why is it that way?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's definitely a high point, but to be expected.
I always liked Destiny's, like, on paper, but when playing it, it never
Never hit for you.
it never hit for me.
Yeah.
Playing Destiny.
Considering that's an extraction shooter, and considering that the 8-minute trailer they released is all about characters and like getting you attached to these two characters and showing you how they can simultaneously oppose each other and then potentially work together in the future, how fragile alliances are in this game, blah blah blah. Everything I know about the game, my ideal outcome would be something similar to Destiny, where you have a hub world where you can take the time to tell a story and have cutscenes between characters and do narrative stuff, in addition to the extraction shooter element of that game.
Yeah.
I know that they've already said there's going to be like NPCs, like AI enemies in the game that you fight together to get loot and stuff like that. So it's
Right.
not fully PvP, it's PvPvE.
Right. Yeah.
And that's cool to me. I like that element
Yeah,
of it.
me too.
But I mean, 100% that the aesthetic design of the trailer is the big draw. The problem is the trailer was made by someone, I can't remember their name, but they are a well-known 3D digital animator. And so that's not Bungie, right? Like, so
Right.
unless they're going to get this one person to design this game,
Yeah.
I don't know how similar the other parts of the game are going to look to
feel.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
so far the trailer has hooked me, and then you say extraction shooter, and my first thought is another extraction shooter. But there's no genre you could do at this point where that's not my reaction. So
Right.
it's not fair.
Yeah.
Bungie's cozy game.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I do think there's a lot of built-up animosity towards people who didn't enjoy, or like towards Bungie for people who didn't enjoy Destiny.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people played Destiny and were so burned by Destiny that they'd never played Destiny 2.
Right.
And I do think Destiny 2 is objectively a much better approach to that same design philosophy. Destiny 2, to this day, I feel like Destiny 2 is an absolute blast to play minute to minute. It has some of the best feeling shooting I've ever had in a game, like hands down for me. It's just their design philosophy of like you have to have friends to do any of the high level content, and the grind is very real, and you have to buy so many paid DLCs.
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of that stuff is what they're trying to avoid with Marathon, because they said the reason it's not free like most extractions is so that they can continuously put out content for the game,
Right.
instead of relying on microtransactions, which is a very good...
Cool.
it's a good idea. We'll see if that's how it actually plays out, because it's hard to imagine a game nowadays that doesn't have some kind of aesthetics for a multiplayer game that's paid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to see a focus on like some kind of narrative development, because I've never played Marathon, the game that it's based off of, which is a very old game.
Yes, it is.
Totally be willing to go back and see what the fiction of that world looks like. But I would love to know, I would love for them to say ahead of time, like, this is not just using the world of Marathon to make an extraction shooter. It's actually building on that fiction in some meaningful way.
Right.
That's kind of my biggest concern, I think, about that game. It's like, you knew that you were just going to make a trailer that would blow people away to try and, like, ease their concerns about it being an extraction shooter.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
When in reality, you're not doing any of that.
Yeah.
I've seen the Fable trailers. I've seen people try and burn me before. So
Yeah.
I try to stay cautiously optimistic about this kind of stuff. But right now, I'm hyped about that trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that.
That's about it.
Yeah.
It's,
And that's
that trailer
about
is
it.
super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When does it come out?
You can, so if you join their Discord, you can potentially join the alpha now.
Oh, okay.
And they're calling it an alpha, which doesn't mean what it used to, but it does mean that they
I was
plan
gonna
on
say,
having
yeah.
a beta. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
at least one step removed from.
Yeah.
And the beta is the early access, which then 2 years down the road we'll have our 1.0 release.
Yeah, so like 6 years, I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Perfect.
Probably.
Okay,
Yeah. You never know with.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game looks cool.
I mean,
we'll see.
it's weird for them to start pioneering paying for a game, and then that's it, huh?
I don't know if this new model that's never been tried before would really work.
Well, you know, like Halo 3, which is Bungie, I didn't need to be constantly unlocking cosmetics. I just needed to hop online and play this fun game with my friends.
Right.
Yeah.
And I miss
Yeah.
that in a shooter.
Yes.
I can't find a shooter that does it. Like Halo Infinite is the closest that's like, hey, does everyone want to jump on and play some Halo? But I'd rather everyone come over and play Halo 3.
100%. It's the
so-
camaraderie of being in a physical space together.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
is a
yeah,
big
yeah,
part of what
yeah,
made Halo
yeah.
work so well.
Right.
But I would love to see just a fun extraction shooter that isn't just like trying to wring every dollar out of me.
What I think is really like, I'm not going to belabor this point too much, but I do think it's really interesting and worth like just thinking about, even if you don't have an answer for it, that like, has the industry moved so far into this idea that games should be free and then you buy what you want, that the idea of paying for a game up front is offensive to people? Like,
Yeah, it's very weird.
in the social spaces that I unfortunately inhabit, it seems like most people are like completely the inverse of how games were when we were younger. Like the idea of paying for a game seems insane to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not even multiplayer shooters that where the paying for cosmetics makes sense. Single player games have adapted this. Assassin's Creed is the biggest example of like, that's just like, it's not even a free to play game. It's like a potentially $80 game that you're buying $50 packs for to get cosmetics. Like,
I hear you.
Yeah.
that's wild.
Yeah, it's
That's
not-
wild.
It does seem strange.
And it's to the point where we just like applaud a game for being $60 and not charging
being a
anything
normal
else.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just like, wow, these guys are crazy. What are they doing?
Yeah, well, it's just like the whole point of like when we were growing up. If you beat a game multiple times, that's how you unlock stuff.
Yeah.
You know
There
what I
was
mean?
stuff behind beating the game. Look at Drakengard, where you have like
Yeah.
10 different endings every time you beat it, and then you
Right.
get the final true ending, which then gets you into Nier.
Right.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So it seems odd that they. I don't know. That's just like I was talking about earlier when you were talking about Marathon and stuff. It just feels weird that it does. When you watch it, it's just like this seems like the multiplayer part of an actual game. That's when and it's like,
Yeah.
nope, that's just the game part.
But honestly,
It
that
just
would
seems
be kind of cool,
strange.
is if Marathon had a game, but then had extraction shooter.
Yeah. Well, think about it. If you
Not
had,
as just like part of the game, but like narratively, your characters are involved in this extraction shooter because narratively that's
because
just
of
how
it,
the
yeah,
game
yeah.
is.
But it's just like, it's like if you bought Halo 3 and it was just like the multiplayer. It's like that's the game,
You mean like Infinite, where they
basically.
broke it up into two different games?
Yeah. So that's just it. Just seems strange that they're like, here's the multiplayer part, and it's like this is the whole game. I don't know. That's to me, it just feels baffling. So
I think if their intention is to merge as much narrative as there is like multiplayer focused gameplay, they've done a poor job of communicating that. I think what they've done is try to hype people up for this game in a way that has confused them about what the nature of this game is going to be. And I think it's probably going to be their detriment, because if you have to pay for this game in a space where those types of games are typically free, you now have to fight a war on two fronts in 2025. It's not just it's not enough for the game to be good enough to justify paying $40 for it. You have to trick the cultural zeitgeist into thinking it's worth the $40, because whether it is or not is not the question.
Right.
It's when you have a million different influencers who want to tell you that it's not worth that
Yes.
for reasons that have
Just
nothing to do with the quality.
wait till Microsoft buys Bungie and they'll throw it on Game Pass.
Can you even imagine if Microsoft owned Bungie? What would even happen? What would that look like?
I mean, we're in a world where Microsoft owns Blizzard and not Bungie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Not even Sony owns Bungie, you know?
They do own Bungie, right?
I thought they broke off
Did they?
after Destiny 2, didn't they?
I thought
No
they-
idea. I actually didn't know Sony was.
Yeah, I thought that was the whole point. It was they bought
I thought they went off and did their own.
Rock or
did for a
Firestorm,
while.
Firewalk for Concord, and then they bought Bungie so they could have their own extraction shooter. I'm like, so now you're doing 2 live service
Maybe I'm
games?
wrong.
It's like one didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
Con-
no,
Was that
they're
this
just
year?
doing one.
Was that this year?
Concord was last year,
It was last year. Okay.
Yeah, Concord.
But so yeah, that's just funny.
because it was right before the Goaty conversations.
But
But yeah, I mean, I didn't even really mean to say that much about it, but I think Marathon is an interesting game for a lot of reasons. I think it's going to be in a weird place, economically and culturally and genre-ly. So I'm interested to see how that all plays out.
yeah. But you're not kidding when you're talking about influencers like all those YouTube guys and stuff like that. It's just like if your game is not good and you got all those people saying that it's not good, you know what I mean? Then it's just like that's gonna tank your whole thing. But it can end up being good. That's you just never really know. But that's just why it's important to have. I think it's important to have open betas and stuff like that so you can actually try it. And that's what I'm going to talk about.
I think that's true.
Nightreign. Elden Ring Nightreign.
Do we have a veto system?
Yeah, I would like to veto.
The beta. Dude, because I was not interested in this game at all. But dude, it is
I know how
so
you feel.
He was
much
so not
fun.
interested in it that he signed up for the beta.
Well, because I just wanted to try it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean,
It's
basically,
free.
Yeah. To prove a point. I'm like, this game sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's free real estate. Yeah.
But that game, dude, it's so much fun.
If you say so, man.
So much fun.
That's a very interesting dovetail in this conversation, because talk about games that want to focus on multiplayer where people expect a story.
Yeah.
You don't have a better segue than from
Dude,
Marathon
I'm
to
telling you.
Nightreign.
Exactly. Well, that's why I'm kind of like optimistic about Marathon. Because I'm like, well,
Nightreign did it.
Nightreign's a lot of fun. And I was like, well, this game is probably going to be trash, dude. Because I'm like, it's not anything I'm interested in.
It's not the same director.
Yeah.
It's not.
What's your favorite cutscene in the beta?
Who cares about the cutscenes, man? It's all about the gameplay,
So-
dude. Jumping off mountains and not
So-
having fall damage. It's like Monster Hunter in Elden Ring, dude.
I don't believe you, first of all. But second
yeah.
of all, there's not a single monster in that game that I can chop its tail off. I guarantee you.
Well, you used to be able to do it with most of them back in the day. Dark Souls.
Back in my day.
Back in my day.
So
yeah.
Nightreign, for those who don't know, is a new spin-off game from the universe of Elden Ring, Dark Souls.
It's a new FromSoft game.
New FromSoft game. Originally, we thought it was going to be DLC.
Correct.
For Elden Ring. Mm-hmm. Looks very similar. It's literally in the Elden Ring
I mean,
universe.
the
correct?
assets are from Elden Ring.
yes, literally.
And our Dark Souls games.
But
Yeah.
it's very different in some key ways. One, it is effectively a battle royale in the sense that you are dropped into a world, you fight other real players.
Nope.
Yeah,
You do not.
no.
It is a PvE.
Yeah.
There's
game.
no PvP at all?
Nope.
Oh, I thought it was a
No,
PvP
that's Duskblood.
thing.
Duskblood is a
Duskblood will be
PvP.
that.
Oh, I know all about Duskblood.
So,
That's
we
the
didn't even
game.
talk about that.
but Nightreign, dude.
And we won't.
yeah.
But okay, so it's 3-player teams, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm just going to keep talking about this game that I clearly don't know about.
No, you do.
To you who played the beta.
Which is incredible.
It's 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days. So
there's
you
a
get
final
dropped in on
boss.
day
Yeah.
one.
That's too long for me. 20, 30 minutes tops.
Yeah, no,
the
this
most
is
I
a
could play
3-day
game.
extraction
3
shooter.
days. Too long.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm too
Yeah,
old.
just
You gotta use your
I
PTO.
can't get to the circle.
You're gonna need
That's right.
DoorDash,
Yeah.
and you're gonna need PTO.
Yeah. So what is the loop of this game in terms of like they drop you in, you're in a group of 3. What,
It's
what,
the
what are your
most
goals
simple
and how
of-
do you accomplish them?
Yeah.
Well, you get dropped into. It's not Limgrave, but it's basically like Limgrave.
If you don't
It's
tell
basically
me
Limgrave.
exactly where they drop, I'm ending this podcast.
So first of all, you have to pick your character that you want, right? So you pick your character, you pick your loadout, you get thrown into the world.
And you don't make a character.
Correct. You don't make a character.
it's
There's
loadouts,
like a
essentially.
recluse, and there's
Yeah.
all these different, and they all have their own
classes.
attributes. Yeah, classes and stuff like
Can
that.
I be Melania?
No.
Not yet.
No. Yeah.
That's DLC.
I expect skins like that though.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
I want to be Ronnie. So I
Oh,
wanna be-
me too.
Yeah. I expect that.
I want to be Ronnie.
I want to
You know what I'm
be.
saying?
Right.
Yeah,
I just
I don't
want to be
wanna
in
be
the
Jared
tower,
anymore.
just like no. But anyways, so you can invade Ronnie's tower again.
Okay.
But anyways, so you get dropped into the map, and it's just fully explorable, dude.
And it's an island like Fortnite, like it's got
It basically
an edge.
is. Yeah,
all the
yeah.
way
And there
around.
is the rain or whatever, which is like poison.
Which is like Fortnite.
Which,
At
yeah,
night.
exactly.
At night.
at
No.
night.
Not at night.
It's just every
When the night is coming, the rain comes in
yeah.
closer,
Right.
and so you have to be into a certain. You have to be in the boss area before the rain completely closes.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Day rain just doesn't sound right.
well, that's fine. Yeah, rain. Yeah, exactly. So then you fight the boss. Then you get.
fight turtles
So-
tonight.
but every world is like procedurally generated. So all the castles and all the caverns are in different places every time you get dropped in.
Okay.
But yeah, just looting gear, and you can get like permanent attributes and stuff like that.
I'm significantly more interested in this knowing that there's no PvP because
Yeah, there's no
immediately my
PvP.
thought was I'm not sweaty
No.
enough
I don't
to
know
play
who
it.
told you this stuff.
I just watched the trailer and I thought that those were people fighting.
I do expect a mode that they add if they're planning on keeping this game going,
Yeah, I'm
where
sure.
there will be
A
a
PvP
PvP version,
area.
like a more Fortnite-esque.
Yeah, yeah. But you
Style.
get like, you can go to like, you open up certain chests and you get like special equipment where you like roll, and every time you roll, lightning shoots down. Like there's so many like different variables in this game. It's
you're
so
making
much
builds,
fun.
but in a really quick.
Right, but in a very fast way. But also,
Yeah.
it's most every character can wield anything.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you go in with the recluse who's like a mage or whatever, you can pick up a giant axe and start swinging.
But you won't be
around
as
with-
effective as the
Correct,
knight
you won't be
character
as
or the warrior
effective.
character.
Yeah.
Because there are stats, just like Elden
Correct,
Ring and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's just
And you just run to a Sites of Grace and you just press X and you level up.
and you level up.
And you just do it as quickly
But-
as you can to get to the knight to defeat
in the
night
background,
boss.
it's using the stats from Elden Ring. It just doesn't show it. Did you know that?
No, I don't know. What you,
Yeah.
what do you
Like when
mean?
you hit level up, it is in the background
It's
using
assigning stats.
assigning
in the same way
stats
you do
in the same. It uses the exact same system. It just doesn't show it. Mm-hmm. So they just like hid that progression from you and just show you like you're level 3 now. And so your weapons scale just like they did.
Oh, right, yeah, I
in
see what
Elden
you're
Ring
saying.
with
Yeah,
your
yeah,
level
yeah.
ups.
Yeah.
Like so, if you're a wizard and you pick up a sword
Yeah.
and
That's
you're-
nice. If
yeah.
you've played Elden Ring, you'll kind of have some vague expectation of like,
Yeah. Like
the what it looks like to be
Yeah.
twice as powerful.
but like certain weapons have dex scaling and strength scaling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it doesn't show you your like dex stat or strength stat, to my knowledge.
I don't know that it does.
because there's no minimum. Like since everybody can use them, you don't need a minimum, so you don't need to know what your stat.
Yeah, but it would
is
just be nice to
necessarily.
know like my dex is really high, so I need to
Yeah,
grab. But
I'm
you,
assuming it's all in service of speeding up the
Correct.
pace of
process.
the
Correct.
game as much as possible. But
Because each run is like 30 minutes if you can make it to the final night where you fight the giant boss.
all
or
three,
whatever.
you're saying all 3 days. That's 30 minutes.
Basically,
So 10,
yeah.
10 minutes per
10
day.
minutes per day.
so what happens
quick.
at night?
You fight the
If
giant
it's
boss.
3 days long, you fight one each night.
So you fight
You have 2 nights where you fight a
correct
boss,
Like
and
a
then
You
the
fight
third.
a night boss, and then you fight
The third is like a-
the big baddie.
Isn't the whole third day the big baddie?
Correct. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So the first day you get dropped into a world. The second day it's a randomly generated different world. So you try to make it to that night boss, defeat that one, and then the third day is you fight just the giant end boss or whatever.
Okay.
But you can get permanent stuff like gear and stuff like that and attributes after you defeat that one. So
So you get permanent upgrades for your
Correct.
next
run. Yeah. So some stuff is permanent or whatever, and then you just attune that to whatever you want for your character.
Oh, so you have permanent growth between matches? Is there
It's
anything
hard
that
to-
carries over forever?
These certain pieces of equipment that you get.
And you start with them, or you can just find them and they'll
No,
be
you
upgraded
just-
when you get them?
You have to defeat the night bosses and stuff to get that permanent stuff. They're like stones or something like that, and you can equip it to whatever new loadout you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very fast. It's very fun. It's just like you drop down and you just go through a castle with like 2 other people. So if we did it, dude, you just go in there. and just-
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, if we did it,
right? Yeah.
If there were a world where we
Yeah.
We'll see how
it-
we'll see how we are in Monster.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't come out till the end of May. But dude, it was just like
I mean,
I did not think I was gonna like it as much as I did. But
Yeah.
dude, I'm like, it's one of my most anticipated games since playing the beta because it was so much fun. Because it's only like every run is like 30 minutes, like I said, and it's just it doesn't take too long, and being able to explore like the full world. I mean, you have to do it quickly, but
It's just like us. I didn't like For Honor. I got played it, and like a match or two was fun, but it was too much of the same thing every time. Like that combat loop was not fun
Not
for me.
enough
Like
for you,
if I
yeah.
have like a medieval fantasy style game, like I won an epic,
yeah.
and this isn't going to deliver on that. I want this big Lord of the Rings like trilogy story with my character.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
So this isn't. But I'm not gonna like.
well, if you
this-
don't get it,
yeah.
I'm gonna get it no matter what.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, I have to get it on PC because they have no crossplay, which is baffling.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, I'm going to play it, but I
Yeah.
will say with the Dust Bloods release, I
But
have
I'm not happy about
lost a little bit of interest in it because I'm like way more interested in Dust Bloods.
Yeah, but that doesn't come out until next year,
Yeah,
and
true.
only Switch 2 exclusive, which is baffling.
Yeah, which it will be the reason I get a Switch too.
it.
I will be.
You're gonna pay $500 to play Dust.
Yes, I will. I did the same for Bloodborne.
That's what I was gonna say, you
and I
did the
did
same
not.
with Bloodborne.
I
Yeah.
did not regret it.
He's got no regret. Look at that.
I did not regret it. I'm an adult with adult money.
Yeah.
This is how I cope.
Oh, I was not an adult, and I did not have money. I traded in everything I had
Everything.
for my PS4.
Yeah,
And
Haley
got
was up next.
Bloodborne. Yeah, I was taking her ring off.
Give me that.
Yeah.
I'll get you a different one.
Yeah.
So this one's $100 or
$40.
okay,
$40 release.
$140.
No. not
100.
What are you playing? What do you think people should know about?
You know what I played?
What?
Which is a secret.
No, that's why I'm
It's
asking.
in a secret from you guys.
Uh-oh.
I played and beat in the same day. Choo Choo Charlie.
And how was it?
Sorry,
Oh
what?
man, I do not recommend that game.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
is Choo Choo Charlie?
You don't know what Choo Choo Charlie
Not
is? It's like a
even-
horror survival game where you're on a train and there is another train that's after you. But it is not on the track. It has spider legs and a face.
Yeah.
Like a horror Thomas the Train.
So you
It
just
is an
really
indie
needed to
game.
get your Thomas the Tank Engine fixed.
Exactly.
So you
This
played-
was like a super big, like, what's the word? Like a fad or like,
Yeah, it came out a couple of years ago,
yeah,
right?
it was like
Yeah.
huge.
It was, because it was like one guy developer.
Yeah.
It's like a bendy kind of like
Yeah.
in the same vein. As,
Yes.
Like one dude made it.
yes.
It's the horror game that they want streamers to play.
correct.
So that they
It
can
is
sell toys in
not
Walmart.
scary. It is goofy.
It's gotta be,
as
right?
everything.
Yeah.
The gameplay is bad. The graphics, like it's impressive as a project that someone made this. Like, but as far as like paying money for it, don't.
Don't.
Unless you're just trying to support
Yeah,
this
yeah,
guy,
for sure. Yeah,
which is
yeah.
justified.
Yeah.
And I'm happy I played it, but like I'm not gonna be like this game's amazing or anything.
Right, yeah.
I got all the achievements in just one run, except for I missed a paint can. I was like really bummed out that I would have to play this game all over again just to get that one achievement.
Don't do it.
But yeah, you just like you ride around on a train around this like island, and you have to like stop the train and get out and move tracks if you're trying to get to a different spot. But you can like walk around the world if you want.
But
Just
you're
Choo
gonna
Choo
get
Charlie
caught
will come
if
and
you-
kill you. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you for referring to him by his Christian name.
Choo Choo Charlie. Yes. Yeah.
We just call him the Triple C over here.
Yeah.
The Triple C. But yeah, it's interesting. It took me like 3 or 4 hours to beat
I was gonna
it.
say probably pretty short.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. No.
Speaking of games in that vein, I played a game that you can beat in about 2 hours because only the first episode is out. It's called Ina's Dream Barbecue. I don't know if you guys heard.
Oh
anything at all
I
about this game.
forgot to try it out before you mentioned it. Yeah.
It's worth talking about, I think, because originally it was a YouTube channel and this guy was making animations of this character.
Oh, okay.
And they are as nonsensical as this game is. I mean, they to the point where I'm like, I don't even know what this person's trying to say, if anything, with this. I believe that they're a Portuguese artist, and a lot of their influence comes from Portuguese culture. The main character, if you've seen them, is a person wearing a Portuguese mail delivery outfit, like that the mailmen wear there.
Interesting.
And they are two people in one. Their face is like half of it is a mask that is masculine, and half of it is like a weird kind of static thing. I believe I'm going off memory, but two different colors, two different personalities.
Never go off memory.
Ones don't because it's wrong. I can already remember now that I'm wrong, but I'm not going to say a new wrong thing. So I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah.
But basically, it's like you are in this world. Every character is like as different as they can possibly be.
Yeah.
To the point where like some of them look like they're made with claymation. Some of them are like hand drawn. Some of them are typical like CG, whatever. There's a Japanese man in a giant panda outfit that gives you missions. And then you have like a blob that sits on the corner of the island where you live. Will give you like hints and stuff. It's very weird. It's very interesting. Your whole point is to find the boss, which the whole game feels like it's kind of lampooning the typical structure of a video game where you just like have a big bad boss that you need to go fight.
Yeah.
But you can't get to them because you don't know where they are because there's fog all around you. So you're trying to get rid of the fog.
Yeah.
So you're going through this world and you're like talking to all these weird people, and it's kind of like it's just like visual signposts of like you talk to these people. They're very entertaining in how weird and out there they are. But the reason that I wanted to hear you all's opinion on it is because if you go and you look at what is happening in the game, there's clearly something that they're trying to communicate. And I think it's really interesting that in a lot of ways, it's like a weird throwback to the very, like, you know, when you see something and it triggers a core memory for you and you're like, I remember that from when I was a kid. It's if a whole game was made up of that stuff. There's like, at one point I was walking through this town and I looked over into an alley and there was like a little trash can emblem, like in the old Mac computers.
Yeah.
And it looks exactly like that. If it were upscaled into like a modern video game. Not like visually changed, but just like the resolution is higher.
Yeah.
And there's like so many little moments like that where I'm like, I feel like it's like all of this is an homage to like things you've forgotten about video games. And I thought it was really interesting. It's free. Like I said, it's like a couple hours long.
Yeah.
I definitely think.
Man, it totally hit me just now what game you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, you have you seen it?
Yes. Okay. I've seen the trailer for it on Steam. But yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. There's a lot of stuff
I'm into play it
where I don't know what's going on. I feel like it's such a low level of investment to see if you're interested in it that why not?
Sure. Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of like.
And what's it called again?
Ina's Dream Barbecue.
Okay,
yeah.
Barbecue is what
the barbecue
is. Just call it barbecue. Yeah. Like you won't remember.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's not like it's almost like it's like a Myst style game in the sense that you're not fighting anything.
Yeah.
You're not like there's really no opportunities to get stuck on anything because it seems like they just
walking
want you to
simulator.
take it in. Yeah, it is a walking simulator with like very light puzzles.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, there's like a part where you go into a world where suddenly you have to use the bathroom all the time. And whenever there's a lot of humor in it that mostly lands for me.
Welcome to 40.
But you keep trying to ask people where the boss is, but there's something about the world that won't let you say the word boss, and you always ask where the bathroom is instead.
Oh, okay.
It's just very like, and there's like you get in a line at one point to get into this new area, and there's like a queue, and the person in front of you is like an old what's the Microsoft program where you could draw
Microsoft Paint?
It was like an old paint picture of like a house and when you try to talk to it, a huge arm like comes out of the door, and it's just a thumbs up, and it says, "Nobody can take your right to the bathroom," and then it just turns back around. Okay.
I thought that's what you were gonna say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if that sounds like your kind of game,
Oh, it does.
Yes.
Yeah.
will be.
It sounds like the developer for Jazzpunk made a new game.
100%. Yeah. It's on. I don't think it as. In terms of humor, I don't think it's as dense as that, because I think they're trying to do something else where I feel like Jazzpunk just wanted hit
Just
after
to make
hit.
you laugh.
Yeah, just like how maximum, it's like Arrested Development of video games. You know what I mean? It's like jokes in jokes.
Yeah.
How insane can you be?
Yeah. But I would definitely check that out. I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What about you, Talon? Choo
Well-
Charlie.
You played Choo Choo Charlie as well.
Well,
I
there's
thought
been
we
a
were going to stream it
there's
together.
been a heavy amount of releases
What a waste
through
of
Game
time.
Pass.
The year's been crazy. That's kind of why I wanted to do a grab bag episode, because I'm like, I just don't even know what to talk about because there's so many games.
And I
that
have
people need to
played
see.
quite a few games, but I'm just going to go real quick.
Here we go.
I have
'em
played
off.
3 games that
If he talks about Street Fighter, I'm gonna.
He's gonna talk about Street Fighter, dude.
No, man. Next character doesn't come out till the Switch 2 comes out, so we'll talk about it then.
We're in a safe space for the time being.
But 3 games came out that I was pretty excited for, and they were all disappointments for me.
Really?
Oh,
So I played
I
Adam
thought
Fall.
you liked Clear Obscure.
That's not the game I'm talking about.
Okay. Okay. I thought
Adam
you...
Fall,
Yeah.
South of Midnight, and Avowed.
Avowed.
Yes.
Avowed was not a surprise for me. Like, I
Yeah.
was not anticipating being, like, blown away. From what I hear, I have not played it.
Yeah.
It's okay. And that's why I haven't played it. I
Yeah.
don't have time for an okay.
No one does.
Yeah. I feel like all 3 of these games are going to be like looking back like
They're
10
gonna-
years from now, they're going to be like hidden gems to me.
The games
Maybe.
that you find in
Yeah.
the discount bin where you're like,
I don't know.
I heard this game was good, and
Yeah.
it's $10. You know what I mean?
It's such a strange, and I think I talked to you guys about this, but it's so weird to have these games released back to back, because Avowed came out and it was like a long time ago this game was announced, and it was like the Skyrim killer.
Correct.
People were
Yeah.
like, oh, and then
Obsidian's new game.
Yeah.
It's going to be,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And
like
then,
you guys
yeah.
are waiting for Elder Scrolls 6, wait no longer.
Right.
And now Adam Fall was like, you're waiting for the new
Fallout?
Fallout.
Dude,
Here
yes.
it is.
You know, I
It's
didn't
like-
think about that.
Yeah,
That's-
it's so
yeah.
weird that like they both feel like off-brand Bethesda games.
Correct, yeah.
And they did not deliver on
No.
either one. They each have their own thing. Like
Yeah,
Adam Fall
for sure.
wasn't trying to be the new Fallout.
Yeah.
And they
It's
made that
British
clear.
Fallout.
Yeah.
That might be part of why it didn't land as well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know the quality of the game because I didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
But
I've watched a lot about it, which
Yeah.
is why I haven't played it.
I feel like anytime you position yourself as blank killer, you're almost guaranteed to just set people up for disappointment. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I
How many
played
Halo killers can you think of that just didn't
Smash
land?
Killers. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
anytime
Halo
you throw
killed
that
itself.
label on
Halo
there,
was the
yeah.
Halo killer.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I've played about 10 hours of each of these games.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't, and you know me, I'm usually like, once I play a game, I usually finish it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
You know
weird.
what
I don't like it.
And I haven't finished any of these games.
yeah.
Just because it's either like the mechanics didn't work.
Yeah.
A lot of the choicing, like a lot of the decisions, well, for the mechanics, but just like a lot of the decisions they made, I'm just like, why did you do that? I don't know. It just seems like they needed a longer time in the oven. But I will say all 3 of these games feel like they're a decade too late.
Yeah.
Like these feel like PS4.
Because they started making it out a decade ago.
Yeah,
How
it
can you
just-
put it in the oven any longer and get something
Just
better?
get this game out.
It's going to
Yeah.
get burnt, which I think is what
it
happened.
feels like these feel like last gen games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
definitely see what you mean.
and that's the thing. It's like I'm sure people are having a good time with these games. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they're not.
I like Avowed. Like
Yeah.
and Natalie does as
And a
well.
lot of people do.
And the thing is,
Correct.
like, to me, Avowed feels like Oblivion to me. Like, I enjoy it in the same way that I enjoyed Oblivion. In like, I just like wandering around and seeing cool stuff. Like,
Yeah.
in the moments where you are like not getting in the way of me getting to the next new thing. I think that game's really cool. The combat feels really good.
Combat does feel good. Yeah.
You know, like the voice acting's good. It's got enough RPG elements that, like, the story is actually, I actually think it's pretty genuinely interesting. But they make a bunch of really weird design decisions, like monsters never respawn in the world.
Yeah.
So when they're dead, they're dead.
So if you're looking for a game where you wander around, you found it.
But and that's the thing, right? That you're
Yeah.
like you're putting me in a position where, like, the whole point of this game for me, the draw, is to just stumble upon cool stuff.
Yeah.
And when I have to backtrack through an empty nothingness for like 15 minutes to get to the next new thing because I went in the wrong direction or because I hit a dead end or whatever, then you're totally breaking that momentum for me in a way that like when this many good games are coming out, it makes it really hard to want to go back into that game when I left on that note of like, I'm gonna have to travel like 20 minutes to get back to the other thing, so I'll just save and quit.
As the game ranks before you buy, I watched where he showed gameplay of like 10 minutes of him walking from one thing to another of nothing happening. And that's
there's
crazy.
lots
like
of
a
cool
strange
stuff to see and find, but once you've found it, it's like a tombstone, like a monument to what you saw, because it's just like this empty, hollow place afterwards.
It just seems strange because I know a lot of people are like, well, why are you complaining about not being able to interact with every object or like cause chaos and havoc or whatever? And
like, I don't want that.
But it just
it's bad for different reasons for me.
It just seems weird that it's like, this is an RPG. I don't know. It just
and that's the counter argument that I've heard. Not necessarily a counter argument, but a counterpoint to that is, look at Starfield. Starfield is the polar opposite of Avowed in the sense that what they tried to do was add a million things to interact with, a bunch of new novel items that don't mean anything, that don't matter. But look how immersive it is. You can knock over that coffee cup. Okay, but like to what end? Like what do I want to do here?
I was watching other guys on YouTube compare it to Oblivion, and they were like, look at this super old game with this physics engine. I can pick up a cup, and then they go to Avowed, and they're like trying to pick it up, and they're like, look, I can't. Like, that's not a comparison.
If that's what you want, then you have Starfield, and you must really like that game.
Mechanically, in Oblivion, that does nothing in the game. That there is nothing in the game.
You know what's cool about that in Oblivion? I can put 1,000 cheese wheels in a person's bedroom.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
That's and they were like shooting an arrow into the sky, and Oblivion, the arrow actually comes down. And Avowed, it doesn't. And they're like, wow, Oblivion's so much better. I'm like,
5 out of 10, the arrow doesn't come back down.
Like, agreed, but not for that reason.
And I just, for the art style for me, just didn't really work for Avowed.
The art style doesn't.
The characters feel at odds with the world to me, aesthetically speaking.
Agreed.
But the cover of that game is gorgeous.
The cover is great.
I love what they're going for. I just don't think that they really merge the two very well. Because all the characters look like there's a fidelity to them that feels
it's almost
out of
too
place.
colorful or something. I don't really know how to put my finger on it.
The first guy that you meet that's like a mercenary or whatever, and he's like reptilian, and his skin is like shimmery and but like everything else feels like high contrast, like almost like a watercolor paint style.
Exactly.
And so when the two are together, it's just like there's something about it that they feel like it feels like a mod or something, you know what I mean?
Right,
it's almost supposed to be.
Feels unnatural.
Yeah. I saw that.
That's my opinion.
If I were to pick one to play based off all the gameplay I've seen, I'd probably play Atomfall. What was the other game you said? The third one?
South of Midnight.
I know nothing.
South of Midnight is the one of those three that I am the most interested in. But seeing the gameplay of it, it looked really like floaty and like
it's very
loose.
Repetitive, which I don't really care. I mean, you can change it up a little bit in while you're, you can make different combos while you're using your powers and stuff like that. But to me, it almost would have been better just to drop combat entirely. Just do puzzles and stuff like that with like platforming mechanics. Because the game feels like it should have just been a movie, and they were like, you know what, let's make it a game. And it's like, I don't know if that was the right decision for this.
Give it to an indie studio and let them do something weird with it. That's what I'm saying. Like when I talk about verbs all the time, that's why it's just the easiest way to frame that reference. The verb doesn't always have to be fight.
Yeah.
Like, you can choose new, interesting ways to interact with the world that feel more in sync with the rest of the game thematically. Like,
Yeah.
nothing about the trailer that I saw for that game made me say, man, I want to fight something in this world.
Right, yeah.
Like, it looks so much more about, like,
The narrative.
like weird, interesting relationships, like the interplay between characters and like the world itself and like exploration stuff, like kind of like Avowed. Like Avowed definitely justifies the combat a lot more, obviously. But I just wish, like, that's what I like. That's going to be my new slogan for 2025. Give it to an indie studio.
Yeah.
Let them do something weird and cool with it.
I mean, Zelda is probably the best example of mixing combat and puzzle into one game and executing it perfectly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're an indie developer, you might want to focus one or the other, unless you just have a crazy cool idea. But
I mean,
Right,
if you've got Choo Choo Charlie, it's fine.
Yeah, if you
but
got
like
Choo Choo
most
Charlie,
people don't.
most people
You know
don't
what I
have a
mean?
Choo Choo
Yeah,
Charlie.
it just seems weird because it's like South of Midnight, like it looks gorgeous. It's cool to have like Southern Cajun like folklore,
Yeah,
and
something
it's how it's
new.
weaved into the story and stuff like that. Right?
I know nothing about this game.
Yeah, and
to be
it
honest,
it's
except the cover.
looks great, and you know the
It's like a
story. The
fantasy
story's like
New
yeah,
Orleans kind of
right, exactly. And the story is like interesting, but it's it's not enough to carry because you're just moving to do the same thing, solving everybody's blight every time. Like you know,
It sounds
and it just
like it
doesn't.
feels padded out in a way that
For sure.
was unnecessary. That
Yeah.
they were like, we have a great 5-hour game, but what if it were 20 hours?
Right, basically. Yeah. They should have
That's a
made it
shame.
more of a Life is Strange style, just narrative with
Yeah,
choices.
yes.
They should have done that
Yeah,
instead
100%.
instead of implementing the combat because the game plays a lot like Flintlock, Siege of Dawn.
That's funny.
But that
Does it?
game
I
has
couldn't
way better
remember the
exploration
name for
and
Flintlock,
combat.
but that was what I thought of in
Yeah.
the way that the combat.
But I don't even
seems
think Flintlock was received well.
No, it's not.
It's,
No.
it's
Yeah, I think it's people are like, it's okay. And it's going to be one of those like hidden gems. People are going to think about it 10 years from now and be like, this is pretty good.
Yeah,
Because I
it's-
really enjoyed
it's gonna
the
be,
combat and exploration. The story's like, it's all right. I enjoyed the relationship between the characters, but the ending was disappointing for me. But it just, that game plays better than South of Midnight, but South of Midnight has like more interesting lore.
So it's just
Yeah.
like reverse.
But yeah, just, I don't know. It just seems kind of like,
put them together.
put them together.
because
South of Flintlock.
so, but anyways, but Adamfall looks good,
yeah.
plays okay.
Oh yeah, like when they started showing content for Adamfall, I was
Yeah.
like, finally.
Yes.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Yes.
About time.
Yes.
They're trying something new, which is
Yeah.
nice. Maybe they'll get it on the second go around.
Uh-huh.
So I know maybe surprisingly little about Adamfall.
Yeah.
But I know, so you said it's like a British Fallout.
Fallout.
Basically.
Yeah.
Does it have Matt Berry in it?
No,
Good
it does
question.
not.
It doesn't?
Bad question.
Okay,
It
so
does
so
not.
we figured out what the core issue with the game
Oh,
is. So
okay.
then, like,
Yeah.
what else is wrong on the fringes?
Well, here's the thing. So you're trying to do like a sneak attack, right? Okay. The enemy has so
Always.
much spatial awareness. It's insane. They'll be like 10 feet in front of you. They'll be standing like watching nothing. You know what I mean? They're not even
of
doing
course.
anything.
Yeah.
And you're like sneaking and they'll turn around and be like, "Aye!" And I'm just like, what? How?
What do they say,
Yeah.
Talon?
Aye! Aye!
Are they Australian?
Oh,
biscuit! Go
But-
blimey!
But dude, it's just I don't know. It just didn't work for me. Maybe it'll.
Is it
don't know.
just that you wanted to take a stealthy approach and it seems like the game just unfairly punishes you for that?
No,
Or do
it
you
just
feel like
it feels janky.
the combat
the
is
well,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a
janky.
Fallout killer unless it was janky.
Yeah,
You
but
know
it just
what I'm saying?
isn't. I don't know. The
janky in a bad way, not in an endearing way. Is
yeah,
what you're saying.
I don't know. It just like you want to go and infiltrate like this village and you shoot one guy and then everybody's like right. I don't know. It just doesn't feel good to play.
It is
And
a game.
unfortunately-
The director said does not require any combat if you really want to, and I know how you like that.
that would be very hard too.
I can't
Yeah,
even.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't gate. I can't tell you like on what level my interest in this game just increased. Just
Yeah.
infinitely.
The director himself said you can beat the game.
Yeah, I
with
would
that.
100%
Try.
Yeah, I might actually play this game now just to see what that means.
But there is a really good game that just came out.
we already talked
We
about
already
Monster
talked.
Hunter.
We already, and we already mentioned Claire
Cody.
Obscure Expedition 33.
Dude,
Yeah, we did-
Claire
we-
Obscure
You are
Expedition
in a very
33.
literal sense. Exactly. We did.
Dude, this is-
Expedition 33.
This is like the RPG that was like made for me, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so when
This
I saw
is
this
so
trailer
much- yes.
initially, I was like, all in, baby.
Okay,
That
I
was
got to
dope.
preface though, real
Yeah,
quick.
we all were.
30 team developers.
33.
No, 30 team developers.
Okay.
Ex-Ubisoft developers.
That tracks.
Incredible.
I fought a weird mime, so yeah, that tracks.
Oh, very much so had that vibe for sure. When I started fighting that mime, I was like, this is this kind of game.
Yeah.
This is this kind of game. And I got an achievement already for fighting a mime.
Exactly.
Okay.
You beat the
Get
mime?
an achievement. What the heck?
I got an achievement.
I beat him.
I didn't. I
Use
guess
the
I didn't
box.
read exactly what the achievement was for, but I got an achievement after beating the mime. I could only assume that
Yeah.
for beating the mime.
Maybe you got like a perfect attack or something.
It had to be.
Because I haven't done that.
I did parry every single one of his attacks the second go around.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, he destroyed me the first go around.
Yeah, you died to a mime. Maybe that was your achievement.
Yeah.
Killed by a mime.
Killed by Mr. Mime.
That has nothing to do with the main focus of this story, I would say, which is why we're talking about it. But so
I mean, Jared, I don't think I've played enough to have a good, solid opinion on it.
No,
what
I
I've
have
played,
not.
I have enjoyed so far.
Yes.
It is gorgeous.
I have effectively seen the opening of that game.
Yeah.
Like 2 fights.
Yeah.
One was a tutorial.
I understand the basic concept of the story, although I have a million questions.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is
It's
exactly how I like it.
Yeah.
I want to be
Exactly.
confused.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly. You know, it reminds me a lot of Nier, for sure.
We talked about
That's
it.
so
Yes.
funny. That was the first words out of our mouth. I said,
Yeah.
man, we got some Nier
Nier
music
music,
going on in
Dude,
this.
the music, the way it's setting up like the story.
Even the way your
color
character
palette.
moves.
Like
Yes,
how
yes.
muted
Yes,
everything
yes.
is.
You know,
Yeah.
good point. I didn't even think about that.
The way your
Yes.
character moves in the environment, I was like, I mentioned to Jared, I was like, man, this is like every aspect of this
Yeah.
is like, is this by the team who
If
made
you
Nier?
translated this into
Yeah.
a JRPG
Yes.
system,
Yes.
yeah, like tonally, absolutely, how weird everything is.
Yes.
Like, so
Yes.
the premise of the game is you live, I assume, on an island.
Yes.
It's all French themed.
Correct, yeah.
And every year there is a giant, like off in the distance with an ocean between you. There's like a huge, basically like one single.
Yeah, I'm
mountain.
super confused about
Yeah.
the distance
I'm
that this
like
painter
now trying
is.
to explain this.
As
I'm
I
like,
was explaining
wait,
it to
there's
Dawson.
a rock in the water, and there's like a woman who's like half the size of the mountain. So like
Yeah.
if you were to scale, she would be like hundreds.
I
of
could
feet
not
tall.
figure out if she was that size or if this was zooming way in or if they were just like messing with the perspective so you can tell what's going on.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
I don't know.
But from what it looks like she is hundreds of feet tall, and she basically just like goes into this state of suspension until a certain day every year. And then so when the game starts, there's a number carved, like a magical number, like it's like glowing, carved into this mountain that she erases and paints a new number on it, which is 33.
Right.
Hence the name of the game. And that it means
It starts off the game with a 34.
so I'm going to
Yeah.
explain this game not as it is, because I don't think I can, but as my understanding of it is. But it is the people who are that age die.
Correct.
So your girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, whom things didn't work out with,
Yeah, some sort of love interest.
she is turning 30, or I guess
She is 33.
She
She
is
is
that age
33.
already. She's
Yeah.
33.
Yeah.
And so when she changes this
So
number
fun.
down to 33, everyone who is at least that old will evaporate into flowers, basically. And you're 32.
Yeah.
So you are part of an expedition of every year. They send people to this island to try and do something to stop her.
Wait,
Yeah.
aren't you 33? Because you're Expedition 33.
Well,
Was she 34?
The year is 33, so all the 33-year-olds are the ones who were dissolved, I guess. So if you were 33, you would have been dissolved with the rest of them.
So you're the 33rd expedition
So
that
next
tries to go
year-
out there to stop the paintress.
If
You're not the
hypothetically-
33rd Expedition, but you are the Expedition of
for the year
33.
33. Correct.
Cut.
Yeah. See, the game's very clear. I don't know why I pretended to be confused.
Yeah.
But basically, the whole point is like you're part of the expedition. You're going out there to solve
What's
this.
going on? Yeah.
You guys have been doing this for a while, but things are getting pretty dire from the look of the city.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's like a ghost town almost.
Yeah.
And
I'm waiting for Expedition 5.
yeah, only it's Lord of the Flies on this island,
Right, yeah.
basically. But there's the thing that immediately piques my interest about this game is it's turn-based combat with dodging and parrying mechanics built in.
Yeah.
And it's timing based like Paper Mario. So it's basically Paper Mario is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. I've heard nothing but good things about the combat.
Yes.
Even though I have not.
It just gets
that the level of
crazier,
customization and stuff you have is really engaging and really interesting. Like it's good choice structure in terms of like trade-offs and stuff like that. But when you're walking through this city talking to everyone, there's like you see immediately like all the orphans from these people whose parents have been dying. Like there's almost as many orphans as there are normal people.
Yeah.
And like the way that the culture has evolved around this ritual that's happening to them, and seeing people like some people support her. They think that it's divine punishment for something you've done, and you
which
shouldn't
is what
be sending
would
her
happen.
positions.
right. Yeah.
And they're like after everyone dissolves. When she changes the number, there's like a morning ritual where everyone who's left like gets around and basically.
And it's not just a morning ritual; it's a sending off party. It's like this party has multiple
simultaneously.
uses.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's a celebration of life, and it's sending
that,
off the next expedition. And
but the whole thing is like they don't have the resources to do both, right?
Yeah,
So it's like you see the way in which they're making do. Like it feels very lived in. It feels really grounded.
Yeah.
It's really interesting just right off the bat. Like I'm very like immersed in the world that they've built in this little town.
Yes.
And all the trash cans are normal.
They're normal trash cans,
cool.
guys.
They're all normal.
Jared and I checked them all for sure. Between me and him.
None of them are weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. I can't wait to see where it goes. I've seen a lot of the enemies and stuff from the trailer that that's very near as well.
Yes.
Very like bizarre.
Agreed.
Like objects attached
Super
to bodies.
cool.
Yeah. Yes. Very cool.
Very
Agreed.
cool.
Agreed.
Yeah. And I will say that one thing, I don't know if you guys talk to most of the people that are in the town or whatever.
I talked to her quite a bit on that.
Okay, one thing I didn't think about until it happened, but she, if you're playing as Sophie, I think, right? You're playing as Sophie, but you talk to Mary or something like that, and she's like, aren't you ashamed that you didn't have any children? You know what I mean? And it's just like, because that next generation's not going to be there because, you know what I mean? She didn't, I mean, obviously the numbers are going to keep going down, but just to help.
Children seems a bad idea to me.
Well, no, I know, but that's what she was saying.
Didn't you
she
want
was just
orphans?
like, she was like, because I didn't want to bring anybody into this world because of that reason.
Yeah, this
but she's
going
like,
away.
Yeah, but she's like, well, you're trying to prepare for the next. You know what I mean? So that's an interesting dynamic.
Because they'll be
what I mean?
Expedition 15 by that time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can't build a boat.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a really cool dynamic. You know what I mean? It's just everybody has opposing views on certain things.
Yeah.
It's just. It's nice to have a breath of fresh air for a game that feels original.
I think what would happen, so in a typical JRPG, which this game is very much a JRPG structure, but it reminds me, the tone of the game reminds me of Last Odyssey a little bit, like in the color palette and the character design and stuff.
Yeah.
But like in a typical JRPG, I feel like what would happen is you would talk to that woman and she would be like, you should have had children to carry on your legacy. And then that would be the end of the conversation or whatever.
Yeah.
But what happens is when you talk to her, it feels like you two know each other.
For sure.
And you're like dancing around this topic of like, how are you, like this festival is like bringing out these conversations that people don't want to have.
Typically have,
But everyone here knows each other.
A little tipsy.
Yeah, yes. You go to this guy and he's like, why are you even going on the expedition? And you're like, Max, are you drunk again, bro?
Yeah.
You're like everyone feels like they have this pre-existing relationship with each other. Like there is a nuance to the conversations that you're having that makes it feel like a place where people like exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I think is really interesting about this. Like it feels thoughtful in a way
definitely
that makes
hooked,
me
for sure.
makes me very excited to see what
we talked about this on an episode a while back, and it's got basically quick time events. They don't feel like quick time events though to me. I don't know how I feel 100% about the combat. We'll see as it goes. But have either of you played Sea of Stars?
Yeah.
No,
played a lot of Sea of Stars.
Okay. I think it's the closest game you can compare it to. It is turn-based combat with like melody style, like timing to parry and increase your damage.
Yeah.
And I just
That's the one you were
it.
trying to think of?
Yeah, I just played it with Haley, it's 2-player.
Oh, okay.
And it's on Game Pass. I mean, it's a 2023 release.
Yeah.
And then I go to play Clair Obscura, and I'm like, oh wow,
I'm already
it's almost
ready to
the
go.
same system,
Yeah.
just way different.
Yeah.
Very
graphically.
graphically, but also very much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mechanically similar, graphically entirely different.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
I'm excited for
Yeah.
you guys to get into it a little bit more because there's a lot of stuff that they introduce, which is really cool. But yeah,
How far in are you, time wise?
I think I'm like 10 hours in.
Okay.
So
Good chunk.
yeah, so it's
Yeah, I mean,
Wonder how
considering
long
I'm
it
about
is.
an hour in.
yeah. They say it's like a 30 to 40 hour game,
Okay.
That's
depending
great.
on.
I feel like I could maybe actually clear a 30 to 40 hour game,
Yeah.
assuming they'll stop releasing cool games for a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But that's it for me. That's
Yeah.
the whole shebang that I
been
want to talk about.
There was one big one I didn't talk about, which is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you got 6 minutes.
6 minutes. Well, I got a new rig, new desktop.
Yes, we've been waiting for that.
So I was like, what's the first thing I want to do with this? And I was play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Yeah.
But man, what a wild.
So you got a desktop, not a laptop.
It's a desktop.
Okay,
It's
cool.
a big old honking thing.
Nice.
Yeah. I got 2 monitors and got one 4K one and one 1080 that I can just like throw browsers up and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And it's nice to actually be able to like
Man, I
just
forgot that game came out this year.
I haven't played. I played a little bit of 1, and I've actually watched streams of 2 more than I played the first one.
Yeah.
So I've seen quite a bit of like what's in the game, but
Yeah.
I don't know how it feels. I can probably tell you how it feels.
Yeah.
Feels like a sim.
It is the most immersive game I've ever played.
Yeah.
The reason why I haven't played as much of it as I want to is just because you have to have a lot of free time to sit down and even start to play it.
Yes, the struggle. They're a real commitment.
Yeah, it's a commitment style game. It is slow. Every quest is like 3 sessions of playing this game.
Yeah.
Like there's a quest to get your dog back that you lose during the intro, and it just keeps like the quest line keeps forking into different quests, and I'm like feel like I'm nowhere closer to finding my dog, and I'm doing all these ridiculous things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, my dog.
Yeah.
What? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, to get my dog.
Does it feel like it's done in an interesting way, or does it feel like they're just padding out this mission?
It doesn't feel like they're padding the mission. It's done in an interesting way. Like to get your dog, you go back to where you lost your dog. You don't see its body anywhere, so you assume it's alive and wandering. And then you hear a rumor that dogs are leaving villages and they're joining like wolf packs, which is a thing that actually did happen back in the day.
Yeah.
His owners would have to like get their dogs back from wolves and like reintegrate them into the family.
I'm wild now.
Yeah. So you're trying to like hunt down this wolf pack, and you hear there's a guy who shepherd who could not think of the word, has a bunch of sheep, and he keeps losing them to wolves. And then so you go and investigate this, and he's like, yeah, there was a dog with the wolf pack, could be your dog. And so now you have to convince him to let him use one of your sheep as bait and go out into this field and put the sheep out there as bait and wait in a bush for wolves to come attack it, just to see if this dog is your dog.
Wow.
It's not your dog. So now you've got to go down a different quest tree, but like everything is that quest is rewarding in its own way, although it didn't lead to the reward you're expecting. But there's never been a game where it felt more rewarding to get on your feet.
To not find the answer you're looking for.
Yeah, not that. I mean, maybe, but like just like when you get your first like suit of armor, like you're
Feels
like,
like you really earned it.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
this is gonna change.
like I got a
stuff
job
for
as a
me.
blacksmith, and I'm like making stuff as a blacksmith, like
Yeah.
horseshoes and
Well, we can talk about that after we talk about
swords.
Deliverance.
Yeah, yeah, and that's how I could afford my
But
desktop.
congratulations.
But yeah, every single thing in the game is as detailed as possible. Like you want to make a potion in Skyrim, you just like pick your 2 ingredients and boom, you're done.
Yeah.
This game is like you have a book with recipes that you learn, and you add recipes to it. You have a room where you have to go to make it. There's several of them in the game. Pick your favorite one.
Yeah.
your closest one, and then you have like all these different things, these 4 different liquids that you can use as the base for your potion. You have all these herbs that you find in the world, and there's only specific places you can find these herbs, so you can't just like make any potion you want on the fly, and the ingredients deteriorate over time, so you can't just pick them up and save them for later. You've got to go pick them when you want to make these potions. Of course, there's mods to change all this stuff, but
yeah, of course.
I don't have... People get like shift their level of engagement for how simmy
which is that's the best case scenario for mods, in my opinion. But I'm pretty much playing the game vanilla, except I have like I remove the animations for picking up flowers. Took too long.
That's fair.
Talking about Red Dead Redemption 2.
I was gonna say real Red Dead moment.
But I don't have a lot of time.
You got 30 seconds.
But that game seems
everything's
really cool.
so involved and cool, but like you've got to be down for that. And you can't say this game has failed or is bad, in my opinion, like because it definitely does what it was trying to achieve. 100%. Like
it's the peak example of like people say games are bad when what they mean is it's like
not
this
for
game.
me.
I think that game turned out to be exactly what they wanted it to be, for better or worse.
The combat, I'm not like. I'm not super down with it, but it's honestly, it's fine for what it is. But everything else about the game has drawn me in, like the combat. There are some really cool moments to the combat, where I can like take on 3 bandits at once, and that's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal. It's insane.
Like I'm just on my horse, and there's a guy who just like flies by me on a horse, and I don't even know who he is. And then later on, I'm like going down that same road, and like so much time has passed, but then I see that same guy, and he's getting mugged by like 3 bandits, and I just like come in to try and save the day. Does not go well. He dies, but it ends up with me and all this loot because he died. 3 bandits now dead. And like every kill,
don't mind if I do.
Don't mind if I do. But then like everything you take off the merchant counts as stolen until you like wait a certain amount of days. Exactly. Now? Yeah. You can take the horse that the merchant was on. There's a guy who's like black market for horses, and you can like get a ton of gold. Like every other way of making money is obsolete once you figure out this system. And you know this character, but like there's been so many quests that I could do a whole podcast on, that I can't get into.
You haven't even said the most immersive part, which is you can't just save the game.
You can't just save the game. I don't know how this is immersive, because the way you save the game is by you drink an alcoholic drink. I can't remember what it's called. Schnapps. Like, and you can make a weak schnapps like that still saves the game.
What does that mean?
If you don't
Sometimes
use like fresh ingredients, Did
you
save is corrupt because you used a weak schnapps one. We didn't really give our full effort on saving your game. No. If you want to save the game, just quit the game and then start back in, and it's got a save at that spot. So like if you've been traveling a long time, which is annoying, like that you shouldn't have to do that. But it is a little trick, like. If you're afraid of losing a bunch of progress, which has happened to me more times than I can count. And I've just decided to go a different way entirely. Like I went down that road for an hour and lost all that progress. And all these things happened. I'm just going to go this way now. I'm going to go this way now.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
I'll go back down there later. Like there was a bandit camp, and I was like trying to methodically take them out with like poison arrows. And my first run I did it was perfect. And then I died down the road and lost all that progress, and then I could not get this stealth run on this bandit camp again. Every little thing went wrong. Like one guy would see me, and then he would alert everybody else, or I would shoot a guy.
For me,
exactly.
But dude, I'm trying my best to like just get into like immersed into the game. It's a ton of fun. It's a ton of fun. Highly recommend.
You just need a ton of time for it
and a crazy rig.
Don't have kids. Do have no kid money, and then quit your job, I guess. Just like
quit your job. Get a blacksmith job.
Get a blacksmith job. It'll help you in the game.
Right.
What else?
All right, just real quick, anything you guys are looking forward to for the rest of the year?
Clear Obscure seems cool. I'll probably play that. Definitely going to put some more time in Monster Hunter.
I'm excited for Nightreign.
Donkey Kong Bonanza looks great.
The Donkey Kong game looks like another reason to get a Switch 2.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
sure.
That game looks crazy cool. I've never even I've only played one Donkey Kong game once, but
Yeah, I actively
Yeah.
dislike Donkey Kong as a character, but this game looks great.
I don't dislike Donkey Kong.
I don't like
I
him.
just don't like
I don't
Donkey
like
Kong.
him. If you heard what he said to my girlfriend, you would get it. But I don't like him. It's hard for me to think of games on the spot.
I was just curious if there was
can't really
something
think.
specifically.
Honestly,
the
it's just
future.
Switch 2 stuff.
Yeah, for
Dust,
sure.
Dust Bloods, which I think comes out
next
year.
year.
But
Yeah.
I'm excited to play the new Mario Kart. Excited to
Yeah,
play the
Mario
Donkey
Kart.
Kong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm
There's not a lot off the top of my head that I can think of for PC
yeah.
which is mainly where I go to.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Capcom Fighting Collection 2,
Oh, snap.
which is going to have
The same game.
Power Stone.
Power Stone.
It's gonna have Power Stone.
So Ryan's going to come over and play Power Stone for the first time.
That's great. I hope that's on Switch because that's
Yeah.
the perfect environment
Yes.
to play that game. So.
It's both.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. Okay, great. So
Interesting.
we'll definitely be doing
Yeah,
that.
I've never played Power Stone.
Yeah, I know. We're
I
pumped
hope
for you
it's
to play.
still good.
We hope you like
it's still
it.
good.
We will quickly switch to Smash Brothers.
That's right, exactly.
All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Sorry for the long delay. We're glad to be back.
Exactly.
I'm not going to say that it'll go back to a regular schedule, but we hope so.
Yeah, we hope so.
We'll see. Otherwise, subscribe, email us. Did I say podcast@gmail.com?
I bet our mailbox is just bursting.
Oh my God.
It's
It's completely full. Yeah.
With spam.
we haven't
Check it
checked
every day.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys tried not doing the podcast?
I do know. I got an email from a different Blueprints who needs us to move some money for him, and he'll pay us millions of dollars. So I should have checked
Nice.
that email more closely.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Other than that, don't forget to save.
Don't forget to say it.
Yeah.